So Owen Benjamin keeps making fun of Nick Fuentes and saying he's gay because he makes fun of women who are promiscuous. But the thing is, Nick Fuentes grew up in an environment with a lot of e-girls where Nick works really hard to try and build up his business online, and then he sees people making millions of dollars just for showing off their reproductive organs online for clicks. And so that's got to be frustrating. And also, he probably sees that a lot of young men, haven't got as good discipline as him. They fall to lust and they just don't do anything because they just watch at home all day watching erotic videos, and it stunts their potential, it stunts their masculinity, it stunts their growth. And so what I envision is that to really avoid a temptation, you have to learn to hate the temptation. Like, for example, cigarettes. If you go have cigarettes, you got to actually associate the smell of cigarettes with like rotten eggs. You have to think about just the feeling in your throat of smoking too much and how it feels terrible, or just that feeling of spending $40 and you wish you could buy a steak instead with that money. And so if Nick said he never falls to lust, right? So he's really tricked himself to not fall victim to like all those advertisements. Like on X, you go on X, there's still like videos of erotic girls on there showing off their curves and their cleavage, and making like duck faces, like simulating oral asphyxiation. And so I think that there's going to be a little bit of animosity towards the gender as a whole, considering in the internet, like if your whole job and whole life, all your hobbies are on the internet, you see how much attention girls get just for being hot and showing off their bodies. That's got to give you a bit of a chip on your shoulder. And I think it's a bit of a, yes, it's problematic, but the tactic is to, and also you see like if let's say women are involved in politics, or they're involved in government positions, or involved in positions of authority, is that the problem is they act like men, but if it was a man, you can kind of be truthful with them. You can be a little bit brash, but with women, you can't ever like raise your voice. You can't ever tell the truth because you don't want to hurt their feelings. And obviously, in the past, there's always a potential of male-to-male violence. Like if things don't work out. And back in the day, you have a problem with someone, you say, "Want to go outside? Do you want to take this outside?" They can't do that with women, so it's frustrating because it's not the usual discourse. But when they're trying to get involved in policy or things like that, then they're in the man's world. Then it's going to be frustrating because you can't talk to them honestly. It's not fair. And so you see them get all the attention from clicks online. Hello, puppy. How you doing? How you going? Wants to play. That's all right.
Hey, puppy. All right, Kai, let's go.
That's okay.
Come on.
All good. So yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know about Nick's personal life, but I don't think he's gay. But I think that if someone is so sick of e-girls and OnlyFans girls corrupting youth, corrupting old people, taking all their money, and also just getting an easy ride in life, because all they're doing is just ruining their ancestors' hard work of, all those women out there, billions of women who haven't abused their sexuality. It's got to be frustrating, especially as a religious guy, as a Christian guy. And also just the fact, like in the political world or in the business world, you can't be honest with women because, they have more rights, and so they're like above the law, and that's not fair. And obviously, if you're dealing with people who are in business world, like very high stakes, or political world, their people have a really big yearning for rational deduction. And so if someone just has like a handicap, then it goes against the entire principles of equality. Because Nick Fuentes is a virgin, the one girl he gives himself to has to be a big deal because it's for marriage. And so he's got his guard up, right? Because he doesn't want to make a mistake. Because if he falls for a girl and, marries her and ends up that, she's not right for him, then he's upset God, right? So he's built up on a pedestal this whole decision for having kids. And also everyone's online telling him he needs to get married and have kids and get involved in his personal affairs. And that doesn't happen to most people. And also, lastly, semen retention. I know he thinks half the reason why he's got so much power, he's so charismatic and intelligent, is because of his semen retention, because he hasn't had sex before. I don't think he's masturbated. That's why he's so charged up, because he's channeled that energy. And there's actually this scene in this Jesus movie, I think, what's his name, William Dafoe was Jesus, and someone said to him, that's what happens to men who are not married. They go a bit wild because they've got all the semen in their head. I think there's some truth to that. Obviously, with great power comes great responsibility. Yes, when you retain your semen, it gives you extra powers, but also it makes you a little more grumpy, a little more, you've got to be careful not to